So my name is Kurt Smith. I'm the Director of Industry Relations for the ATA. So I just want to go over kind of a little bit more in depth what we do with our bow technician certification program. The program we've been running for about a year and a half, and this was kind of created because we're a membership organization, and our members told us that they thought there was a need for some more training that wasn't manufacturer specific. Some of the programs that are out from the bow manufacturers, you have to be a direct dealer with them. They only offer it in one place, maybe one time of the year. So we wanted to do something that could serve a wider audience. So it actually, before I came to the ATA, I worked for another archery distributor in the United States. I won't name them. But I was also a teacher, so this has all kind of come together of creating a program that can deliver the information in a way that helps people. And what we're doing as an organization is trying to increase participation, get more people in the sport of archery. Obviously, in the United States, we also have the bow hunting aspect. I know it's not nearly, you do have, okay, I know Denmark and Hungary, I know most of the, okay.
More and more countries in
Okay,
Europe,
so
actually, so.
yeah, and we have worked with the subject of bow hunting. We've worked with the European Bow Hunter Federation to try to help them with some information that can, if as they're going to different countries, they can at least present scientific information about bow hunting so that they can make choices based on facts instead of opinions. So bow hunting is a big part of it, but really for this program, we don't specifically look at a bow hunting setup or say this is a bow hunting, arrow choice or something like that. We're looking at it on a broader scale, so it should be applying to everything. The problems that we see that you guys probably see, and I should ask, so you guys are working in pro shops right now?
11 pro shop managers, so
Okay.
what we saw with your program, at least what I saw with it, that it gives you a certification, like it makes it official. I mean,
Correct.
everybody can
Yes.
tune their bow if they have the setup
Yeah.
via YouTube. This is just a
Yeah.
plus.
Yeah, and the YouTube, and that's kind of what I'm trying to show up here. We see a lot of that people who have a legitimate shop, either they're bringing new people in and they want to get them trained so that they can be helping customers sooner. There's a lot of information out there that is great. There's a lot of information that's not so great, and it's hard when you're new, as you start to look to really figure out what you can believe and what you can't believe. And what that boils down to is we want more people shooting bows for a longer period of time. And when they come to you and they've had a poor experience because either A, they tried to set it up themselves and couldn't do it, or they've gone to another shop that maybe didn't have a good training, they're not having a good experience, and the odds of them continuing to shoot are going down. So that's really what we're trying to address. So our solution, I'll just kind of play this. I'll try to turn the sound up just to, one of the things that we noticed too, information that's out there, half of our course is online video content. I've noticed there's a lot of content that you look at the video and you can't actually see what they're doing. So they're talking through a skill, but most people are visual learners. So you want to be able to actually see what they're doing. So we put a big focus on just having higher quality video so that someone can watch it. Even if you don't have experience, you can watch it and understand what's going on. So this is just kind of a real brief overview. Try to turn that up.
The services you offer are what make you a true archery pro shop. The ATA Bow Technician Certification Program is designed to help ATA members ensure they've got safe and fundamentally sound technicians behind their bow counter. Learn at your own pace with online video content, focusing on the knowledge and skills essential to the bow technician role. In this program, you'll learn key aspects of bow design and function, along with methods to tackle the most common tasks a bow technician encounters on a daily basis. Complete this course and you'll have the skills to do a complete bow setup, time cams, and paper tune any compound bow. Having all the information in one place means you and your staff spend less time searching and more time learning. Beyond the online course, every student will schedule a hands-on practical assessment where they will demonstrate their mastery of the skills covered in this program. The on-demand online course is available now.
So again, just a very brief kind of snippet. You kind of see a sample of what some of the content looks like. And again, it's a hybrid approach. So we have an online course that goes through, it's 18 separate segments. So we start with understanding the parts of the bow. So especially for people who are unfamiliar, using the right terminology, riser, limb pockets, cams, modules, so that when they're talking to people, talking to shooters, they're using the correct terms, and that just builds confidence. And you can see we also touch a little bit on some form aspects. We're not a coaching certification by any means, but we know that if you're setting up a bow for someone, you need to be able to recognize when they have form flaws that are going to affect how the bow fits. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Larry Wise. Larry's been a coach, has done a lot of international work, working with his most difficult student in that picture. So we do talk a little bit about that coaching aspect as well. And then the in-person portion is actually doing the work hands-on. So the in-person assessment is just that. It's an assessment at the end. We do feel like that helps build, the validity of the certification. I have had nearly 100 people complete the whole program so far. I have had people who did not pass the practical assessment because they weren't able to show that they could do the skills. So this isn't just a rubber stamp, everybody who pays the enrollment gets a certification. We do require that people are able to show that they can do the skills. And so who is it for? Really for anybody, pro shop employees, our service professionals. We have a membership for coaches, bow technicians, or archers who just want to know their equipment better, who do want to know how to fix things when they go wrong. So depending on kind of if you have those shooters that are going to do their own work anyway, it's nice if they're going to do work that's not going to make your life harder. This is a lot of text, so I'm just going to run through it. So right now we have a compound bow certification, crossbow. I know crossbows are not nearly as prevalent in Europe. They are becoming more and more prevalent in the States. But the compound certification, to break it down, really we just look at all aspects of doing a bow setup. So when we do the in-person practical assessment, I hand someone a bow, hopefully a bow that they have not worked on before. I joke because I tell them if you walk in wearing a PSE shirt, I'm not going to give you a PSE. I'm going to give you anything else. So I hand them a bow they've never seen before, they've never worked on before, and we start with a set of string and cables. We have them replace string and cables, get the bow in spec, axle to axle, brace height, cam timing, go through a full setup of peep sight, D-loop, a rest, sight, get it leveled first, second, and third axis, and then they fit the bow to whoever their instructor is. So just like you would in a shop, you're setting it up for someone else. So they would set it up for me. We select an arrow, and we go and we do a paper tune and get it shooting a good tear through paper. So that is kind of the foundational side of bow work. We don't get in too much to really advanced tuning or the types of things like replacing limbs, more of what happens when things break. We don't get into that because that does get a lot more manufacturer specific. But we do talk about the cam systems, how there are similarities, even if it's a Hoyt and a PSE, if they both have a string and two straight cables, the way that you work on them is very similar. So we try to alleviate some of those things that people think are just very, it's either a Hoyt, it's a Matthews, it's a PSE. They are all different brands, but there are a lot of similarities. And what we're working on right now is a recurve course. So we're kind of in our third year. I'm gathering, kind of our method is to gather some subject matter experts because I don't want this to be my certification or even really the ATA telling people what we should be doing. When we do these, we get retailers involved, we get bow manufacturers involved, people that have a lot of knowledge, bring them in. My job is simply to take all of their ideas and put it into a format that we can deliver to people that want to take the course. So The recurve portion of this, I'm excited. I'm starting to get my my team together, but we're going to look at kind of the full spectrum of this style of archery, from the very beginner setup that you might put someone in a 3-piece takedown bow, stick on rest. They just get them shooting, to more of, for us, a bow hunting or a 3D type setup that might be shooting a little bit higher draw weight, still shooting off a stick on rest or off the shelf, bare bow, and then into we call Olympic recurve, more target recurve setup. So looking at all of those different aspects, knowing that there are some similarities, are some big differences, but hopefully helping people just feel more comfortable if you're somebody that shoots more compound, getting used to working on that type of equipment. And I will say, probably with recurve more than anything, we are trying to train technicians on the equipment. There's a whole lot of gray area of when is it the equipment and when is it the archer. So we're trying to make sure we're recognizing that, and we're not trying to be a coach certification, but at least be able to recognize the archer's abilities, because you can only tune to the archer's abilities. And beyond that, more lessons, more coaching. So our practicals, I talked about a little bit before. So we do them several times throughout the year. We're trying to add more opportunities. So we do them at our show, the ATA show, at NABA. It's a bi-group show in the West in the United States. We'll do them at the Vegas shoot, and then we're working with JVD to do them here next year, so that people who are already attending this event, we can use some space here. If we outgrow that, maybe use some space over at the office or a club nearby, but do it in a way that people can get the certification, get the training without having to do too much travel. And it's, like I said, it's an assessment, so we're asking you to do that work. We set a 4-hour time block to do that, so it's a half day. Most people, if you're very familiar, it's not going to take you that long, but it's always a little bit more difficult because you have somebody standing over your shoulder watching you and asking questions that you don't normally have. So I've had people take this certification that have worked on bows for 2 months, and people who have worked on bows for 2 decades. So the experience is different, but we try to kind of cater it to the experience level. And lastly, it's been great. We have had awesome support from the industry. So Bear, especially the bow manufacturers, Bear and PSE were on our advisory team to create this. Bowstring companies, Gas, Headhunter Bowstrings, Last Chance Archery, they've all been very supportive of the program. So it's helpful that when we do these things, you're working on equipment that is modern equipment, modern tools, and I think that just overall helps the program. So the other thing I have the mat up here, but we try to make it, if you're in a shop, like you were saying, you're in the pro shop, you may already have a lot of these skills, and I try to be very transparent about that. But it's great to have the marketing materials behind it. Like you said, to have something that you can show people it's official, that it's not just, I've been doing this for X number of years, which is great. Experience is where you learn a lot. But especially new shooters, they don't really understand that. We kind of live in a world where if you do anything professionally, you have a piece of paper that says you're allowed to do it. So we've tried to do that. We have up there, you can see, we have certificates. We put your picture on it, because if it's a new person that comes to you, they don't know what your name is, but they know, hey, the guy that's working on my bow is the guy whose picture's on that certificate. We have stickers, we have banners that you can hang in the shop. These counter mats that have some good information you can put out. We try to just kind of add value here so that you can get more out of it, and again, do some marketing with it. So really, like I said, the QR code's up there. You guys probably got the flyers. I have some up here too. But QR code, you can scan that. It takes you to the website. And you can really get started right away on the online part. I will say that one of the things that we are doing that I hope helps in the European market as well is that we are going to be transitioning to a new online platform. It'll be all the same information, just a different platform. It's actually a company that's based in Ireland, and we're going to have a lot more ability to do closed captioning for the videos in different languages. So even though all the video content is in English, we're going to have, I think they said 26 languages that they'll be able to close caption. We'll have to see how that goes with the archery specific words, how I can make sure that's correct, but that should be a big help, that anybody, no matter what your preference is for language, can look at the content and learn it. So that's all I have. I tried to get through it quick for you guys. Any specific questions about content or the structure of it?
Not really content for me.
Okay.
But more of what it contains. So
Yes.
basically, if I would work at a pro shop
Mm-hmm.
for like X amount of time, usually I, just as you said, through experience, you learn these things. So
Yes.
do you get into the more specific things like the physics of a bow, how it should be working, switching limbs? I know you don't work on damaged bows, obviously.
Yeah.
But which limb to put in which place? The stronger side, weaker side, things like that.
So the question about kind of the more in-depth
Yeah.
tuning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't really get into anything like that with limb deflections. We don't get into that, again, because there is a little bit of, it may vary from one manufacturer to another. And we have found, at least in the States, a lot of manufacturers are particular on which shops they'll send the parts to, or which shops are actually allowed to be doing that work. So we do talk about the function, say, of the cam system. What does let off mean? What does
Single cam binary.
yeah, I mean the different cam systems. So if you're talking about a single cam system, the parts of the string cable harness, also kind of some, I don't say benefits and drawbacks, but things you need to consider when you're working on that type of cam system. But that's really, it's not quite as deep, I think, as you're talking, because we are trying to focus more on that foundational level. So there is potential. It's kind of like our 5-year plan that we do a more in-depth course that would, right now we pretty much stop at paper tuning, but to do more of like creep tuning and, all the different tuning methods that you can use to really make some fine adjustments. But that'll probably be in a kind of a level 2 type course.
You have to take the different, what's that? Exams on the different types of bows. So
Yes.
you were talking about crossbows, compound bows. So that would be like 3 from 2025. That would be like 3 different exams, right?
Correct. So so for the practical assessment, they're all, each of these, so far we have the 2 that are created, compound and crossbow. They're each a separate practical assessment. With compound bow, it's pretty much, I kind of explained that, how we work it. We frame it like we're starting with a fresh bow, you're doing string cables, and we're going to do a full setup from there. With crossbow, it's a little bit different. It's not so much setup. With crossbow, we look at all the different styles because each manufacturer has a different way that their cable systems works, different way that you can adjust timing, things like that. So we have 10-point reverse draw crossbow, I have a Raven crossbow, I have a Wicked Ridge, I have an Excalibur, I have pretty much any style of bow that you might see. We have them, and you work on all of them, doing kind of the string and cable and cam timing, axle to axle, those types of things. So 2 separate ones, and the recurve will be similar. It'll be doing that beginner setup. Let's get an arrow that flies well out of that. Let's go do maybe a long bow, 3D style bow, do a bare bow setup, and then we'll do a target recurve setup.
I'm coming in between Oneida hat on.
What's that?
With the Oneida hat on.
You sell Oneidas?
Sorry?
You said Oneida?
Oneida, yeah.
Did you sell those?
No,
Oh.
I don't. I've actually seen it like 2 times in my life.
Oh, we have in our areas 25 people
Oh,
in the
really?
region of Munich. and
Really, that
the
shoot.
south of Germany.
Oh,
So we have a lot all-nighters.
The, be-
And
the
we
best.
work a lot with this. Yeah.
The best experience I had when I worked in the shop and somebody brought an Oneida and somebody that I worked with that worked on him a lot, he said, all right, I'm going to do something. He said, I'm going to draw the bow back, grab the limbs. I said, what? He drew the bow back. You just hold the limbs there, take the string off, put a new one on. We don't deal with Oneidas too much in the Corps.
yeah, they're not super common. So
Oh,
Yeah.
we're not a dealer of
Oh, no, I know.
we only make service.
You just see them.
See that.
I love the paint jobs, by the way. US dollar, US whatever. So, more questions. So
anything
next
else?
We're
Yeah.
gonna have the what's that course?
The-
The exam here, right?
Correct.
JVD.
Yes. Yep. So, so yeah, we are. I've been talking to Frank and to Johan about having the practical here. We'll have to see what space they have here, honestly, to see how much space they can give us and see what the interest is. But we're gonna do that, and then from my job from now until then is to work out those details. But yeah, we will do what we have to make it work, because we recognize it's a big need, it's a big opportunity for us to have more impact in the European market. We represent the whole industry. Sometimes we forget a little bit that the industry is not just the U.S. Even though there's a lot of manufacturing there, it's really it's a global sport. So our whole mission vision is growing the sport, and that's everywhere. So that's what we're going to try to do.
Sure.